Workers have just begun leaving after receiving the news within the last few minutes that part of the plant, the petrochemical plant, is to close. Sky's James Matthews is there. Have you managed to talk to anyone, get their reaction yet, James?
No, I haven't. We're being kept at a distance by security, but frankly, I think the picture paints 1,000 words. If you look at the grim faces emerging from the staff canteen, that has been the first of many back-to-back meetings today, workers being taken in some 100, 200 at a time. We told the news that we broke some 5 minutes ago. The petrochemical arm of this operation is shut down. A huge plant. It's been here for decades, a real fixture on the industrial landscape and social landscape in Scotland. It's been around for decades. The most significant site in terms of its importance to the economy effectively is to be closed following this dispute over and conditions. INEOS, the Grangemouth operators, they wanted to restructure the whole operation, but they said to the workforce, we'll put in the extra investment. What we want you to do is to take a cut in redundancy terms, pension terms, and they wanted a freeze on pay. Now, the Unite Union, something like 2/3 of the workforce, they said, happen. We'll sit down and the company wasn't really for talking. What it did was to play hardball, essentially. A week ago, it shut down the operations in this plant, while the operations descended into a stalemate. Politicians entered the fray. Both sides urged back around the negotiating table, but that to any meaningful degree. And I suppose the company issued the threat of closure about this industrial dispute, has carried through that threat that would come to pass. I spoke to Pat Raff of the Unite Union this morning, and he said, you know, you could not close Grangemouth. It's such an important place, such an important facility to economic and social fabric of Scotland that envisage that. That is what has come to pass, at least partially. Some workers, I believe, something like of 1,400 workers are involved in the petrochemical plant. So it could have been worse. It could have been shut down of Grangemouth. But I suppose the business decision has been plant. Look at which of the plant is making oil, half is, plant is not. And ultimately they've chosen to cut loose the loss-making arm. You just talk us through this meeting this morning.
Petrochemicals is shut. He's staying down unless the new terms and conditions. That's it.
Tell me about the meeting. What was said? What was there a motion?
Aye. I don't know. I've left the first 10 minutes, mate. I couldn't keep listening to it.
Grangemouth chairman says this is a very sad day for management. Spoke to 1,370 employees and asked them to required to save the business. Sadly, half of them voted against the plan on the advice of the Unite Union. Well, there you go. That's the language of the industrial dispute, blaming the unions for where they are at the moment, and that is the closure of the petrochemical plant at Grangemouth. I'll just read it very quickly. Samantha, following the breakdown of ACAS last week, and Unite to provide a no-strike guarantee, company decided to employees direct, and sadly has reached the conclusion for Grangemouth without change, and therefore could no longer continue to fund the business. I'll quote from Callum McLean, the Grangemouth Petrochemicals chairman, and who delivered that news to the workforce at 10 o'clock. He said, usually a sad day for everyone at Grangemouth. We have to convince employees of the need for change, but unsuccessfully. There was only ever going to be one outcome to this story, if nothing changed and we continued to lose money. On to say they've had no option to change the services of a liquidation process within a week. Petro-Ineos will now decide on whether or not to restart the refinery. That's the oil part of the business. A decision still to be taken. This will be primarily dependent on the removal of the threat of further industrial action. So there you go, Samantha. It's not as if this decision takes away the problem of this industrial dispute and the fact that the workforce are refusing to accept a change to their pay and conditions. In response to that, this company has shut down the whole of Grangemouth for the past week, and what it's saying here is it will remain shut down until you, the employees, accept the change that we want. And I suppose if the workers didn't think they were serious in the threat of closure before now, they will see this as a substantial threat, a realistic threat.